Redfish and I started our quest for the trip slam at a familiar location, Isla Holbox Fly Fishing Lodge. We thought it'd be a great place to cross off the tarpon and maybe the snook. A solid set and a couple of jumps, and it's game on. As always, the tarpon were there, but so was the wind. And these little guys, well, they're just really well educated. This guy comes out of the water, put a lot of pressure on this fish. And these little guys, they just really fight hard. I remember this fish because he actually took a topwater fly, which was really cool. Little head shake, and this guy here, he's about ready to be landed. Out of the water one more time, and I got the tarpon crossed off my list. When it came to the tarpon, Redfish struggled with the wind, some tough casting situations, some bad luck, and interference from a hungry barracuda. We decide to tuck in as best we can from the wind and try for some snook. I get lucky and hook a couple. One fish I lose right at the boat while we're trying to capture some underwater footage. I do manage to land the second smaller fish. We get some ceviche, and I get to cross the snook off my list. Meanwhile, Redfish continues to struggle with the snook as the wind favors a left-handed caster. I get lucky and hook another nice tarpon in a deep channel. It affords me the opportunity to jump out of the boat and fight this fish from the land, which was really cool. We missed some jumping footage of this fish because Rooster had to continually go back and make sure the boat wasn't getting away from us. A nice little jump there, and this fight was epic. This little guy, he used the current in that channel, and I was fighting the fish and the current. Every time I thought I had him whipped, that current would swing through his gills and kind of revive him. It was an epic battle. Rooster, I thought here, used great patience. Well, when it come to landing this fish, he took his time, didn't rush it, and made sure the time was right to go for the landing on this fish. And you know what? There's another tarpon for the gringo fly. You remember that one, the gringo? Right there in his face. We relaxed at the lodge as the sun set on this portion of our trip. The next morning, Redfish took in some fishing advice from lodge manager Luciano, and we were off to Pesca. took a taxi out of town and jumped on a ferry to the mainland. We needed to get to Ascension Bay, so we took a ground transfer and headed towards Tulum. Once at Tulum, we took about a 1-hour panga ride and arrived at the first-class lodge in Pesca, where we were greeted by an old friend, the wind. Each morning we start off with a short jungle walk to the boat. Redfish Ryan wasted no time hooking up a bonefish. And as always, those bonefish know how to work a reel. Crystal clear water, skinny water, sight fishing. Classic bonefish action. Giant runs, and then you never know what a bonefish is going to do. They'll turn around and steam right at you. Keep the pressure on, and Redfish Ryan's got the bonefish crossed off his list. The wind never let up. Just look at my shirt flapping in the wind. But I get lucky, hook a nice bonefish, and watch him work that 7-weight. Pull and drag. This is a good fish. The guides knew we were hardcore fly fishermen. They took us to small groups of fish, individual tailors, and kept us away from big schools. A little bit more of a challenge, but a lot more fun, a lot more rewarding. We use tan-colored bonefish flies almost exclusively, and I get to cross the bonefish off the list. Pesca utilizes a 2-guide system, and our guides Ellie and Wynn did a good job all week putting us on the fish. A lot of times, one angler would wade, and another angler would go in the boat. Redfish has got a nice bonefish on here, and he's tearing it up on the top. But we would spend a little bit of time each day fishing for permit, and then bend some rods with bonefish later on. And there's the release. We get a cloudy day and decide to go looking for tarpon and snook. I hook a nice snook fairly close to the boat. The fish is still green, and the apprentice guide jumps in and starts alligator wrestling this snook, and we land it, but were kind of in shock because I really didn't even get to fight the fish. We didn't get the footage. It would have been crazy, but everybody was eating lunch, so we missed it. The very next day, Redfish is doing some bone fishing with Win while I'm looking for Permit. He hooks a nice snook in the 7-pound class, and he's fighting him on bonefish gear. Ellie and I get flagged down, and we head over to see what's happening. Ellie jumps out with a landing net and begins to chase after this snook. And the fish is still green and 50 to 70 feet away from Ryan. Ryan's still fighting the fish, and we just can't figure out what these guys are thinking when it comes to the snook. Ellie doesn't really let the angler even fight the fish. Instead, he tries to chase it down and net the fish while he's even still up into the mangroves. And it's something that we could never really figure out what these guys were doing with the snook. But he grabs the leader and loses the fish in his attempt to net him. This cost Ryan the snook, the biggest snook of the trip, and a chance to cross this fish off his list. There's the lure, there's the leader, not even roughed up. We tried to put the snook debacle behind us and get back to fishing, focusing on completing the super slam. I needed a permit, Ryan needed a tarpon and a permit. The last day, the last cast, it all happens. One quick cast, and I come tight on a permit. Clear the line, lift high, and it's on. This fish was in the 25 to 30 pound class, and he does what permit do, just starts to take off. He's gone for the deep, and I just lift high and try to hang on. You can see it's windy and still a little bit rough. I'm just trying to balance in the boat and hang on to this fish. He's running line off the reel, and it's not going to be long. We're going to have to fire the boat up and chase this fish. There's no stopping this guy. Line melting off the reel, and we give chase. We film over 30 minutes of footage fighting this permit. There's no way to show it all. Permit fighting is just a monster tug-of-war contest, so I jump into split screen here. The bottom left-hand side, you can see us giving chase after the fish, run the boat after the permit, trying to get the backing back on the reel, get the fly line to where I can put some pressure on it. The other 3 frames, just rod bend in action. Lose a bunch of line, gain it back. Lose a bunch of line, gain more of it back. Over 30-minute fight, getting tired, just struggling to stand up in the bow. It was truly an epic battle. This permit just wouldn't give up. I can't say enough about the Temple Fork rod. It was super strong and dependable. I was able to put a lot of pressure on this fish. And my Lamson reel, the drag was just super smooth. I was real patient fighting this guy, but at the same time I put a lot of pressure on this fish. Just felt like everything went right. Just fought him real super smart. I get color a few times, but the fish isn't ready. This time I get color, and Ellie goes for the land. He's got a tail of fish because it's too big for the net. You can see Wen's got the boat in gear, and Ellie grabs the leader. What's the hurry to land this fish? It's a 30-pound permit. The fish just wasn't ready. I'll use an open hand on a leader, and I'll never grab it. One kick of the tail, and Ellie pulls the hook. The fish is gone. There's some silence in the boat. And everybody loses fish at the boat. It just happens. I start trying to make everybody feel a little bit better. There's a lot of hardcore anglers that say once you grab the leader and the fish's tail, it counts as a landed fish. I don't know how you count it. I told Redfish that I'd give him his snook if he gave me the permit. And Redfish responded in a classic manner. He said, "Mike, I can't give you that fish. There's only one person that can give you that fish, and it's you." And I guess that was pretty well said. Ellie and Wen are good guides. They're both young go-getters. All they need is just a little more patience and a little more experience when it comes to landing fish. It was kind of a trip of lost footage and lost fish. I can't say that either myself or Redfish Ryan completed the trip slam. I will say when it came to the bonefish, Redfish Ryan got the grand slam. First fish, most fish, and biggest fish. It's always fun to talk about a grand slam or a super slam or come up with an idea like a trip slam. But you know, I always hesitate in judging a fishing trip according to these things. There's just a lot more to it. You know what? We caught a lot of fish. The lodge itself, it was first class. Super top notch. Great accommodations, great service, and everyday fantastic appetizers, and just super great food. Who could ask for more? You know what? We were fishing in paradise. We get to see a lot of neat things. We saw flamingos and even crocodiles. Yeah, there's a crocodile there. He just got a little close. Check out this bonefish release. That's just pretty. I'd like to thank our guides, Rooster, just a top-notch tarpon guide, and Ellie's a hard worker, and he just tried awful hard to put us on the fish. And I gotta hand it to Win. He was the one that spotted that permit and allowed me to make the cast. These guys also helped us to capture a lot of the footage. They actually went overboard sometimes trying to land the fish. I think Wynn's still trying to dry his phone and his cash out. Every night the table was set for us to tell our fishing stories. Look at that feisty bonefish. That's just nice. We got to experience some Mexican culture in the little town of Isla, Holbox, and we were lucky enough to be there during Carnival, their version of Mardi Gras.
He was?
The guy against it.
What really set the trip apart was the people we met. A saltwater angler from Oklahoma. A lady angler that started her own club for lady anglers. A saltwater angler from France. And even a saltwater angler from Taiwan. Richard, I hope we get to fish together soon. Hey, it's only a 15-hour flight. We hope you join us next time on our quest for the trip slam, no matter where our adventure may take us.